Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up, everybody? Happy Monday. I'm going to take a page out of Luke Hatmaker's book here real quick and say, guess who's back? Back again. Bucks are alive. Mondays again. Let's go, baby. After a long time of training, the Two Bucks are now live on Mondays. I am your co-host, Rusty Buckets. Checking in with my guy, Drew Gann. Uncle Buck, man, how's it going in Northeast Mississippi?
I'm telling you what, the good Lord's paying me back for all of this time I spent on my phone. I've been up at 11, 12 o'clock at night the last Thursday night or Friday night, Saturday night, just constantly refreshing, waiting for Lane Kiffin stuff, staying up past my bedtime to no avail. Everything breaks yesterday. We talked about it on special edition of the show. If you want to hear all my thoughts,
It was such a fun episode. We even got Mama Vicky thinking we were mad at each other.
and so I was like, okay, finally I could get in bed at a decent hour and catch up, get started on the week. Only to get a phone call at 12:30 last night with work stuff, and then at 3:30 I was out the door, and so I'm over here just like, let's go. And so I'm paying the piper. What goes around comes around. I should have gotten some sleep when I could have gotten sleep, but I didn't, and now I'm paying for it.
I hear you, buddy. I am my eyes are still tired and a bit dry from looking at my phone all weekend. Like Maggie and I, when we're together, we're really good about not being on our phones. They're usually away. We're reading together. We're locked in. We're trying to be more intentional with how we hang out. But all day yesterday and all day Saturday, I'm just doing this, and we're talking, and I'm like, I'm just checking Twitter. I'm trying to be engaged, but it had. You
can't serve two masters. And I've done such a poor job of being an attentive husband over the last. It's been really bad for about the last 72 hours. Ever since Friday, but I've told Haley, I was like, listen. Today when I get home, you have my phone. It's yours now. Yeah. You could do with it what you want. I'm checked out.
So we were able to. We watched one of our shows last night. Welcome to Derry, and I was much more engaged. Talked a little bit about the Grizzlies kind of going because the Grizzlies and it were starting at the same time, so I had to catch up and then finish the Grizzlies game last night. But tonight we're hanging out when she gets off work, and my phone is going to be turned off. Don't call me, don't text me, because I owe her some engaged, locked in time, because this weekend I was not. And we'll talk about all the reasons here in just a little bit. Shout out to the comments already. King Meeks, Ninja DJ. Yes, sir. We are live and in living color. Back
it didn't even dawn on me. That's how it's been like a holiday weekend. Yesterday was Sunday. I went to church. I should have just assumed that my normal Sunday routine is to text Rusty and be like, hey, can you pre-record? Is we going to be able to fit it in? And I just didn't. And I showed up today as if it was a Monday from, 15 weeks ago. Yeah. And you were like, we're live. Actually, it's Monday. And I was like, well, hey. We are. It's Monday, and we're live.
It is also our first show together since Wednesday. So, normally we start all of our shows.
Or yesterday.
Well, I guess that's fair, It's our regular $2 show. I'll say that. But, again, shout out everybody in the comments. Brian, thanks for being here, man. We always start our shows with a bit of buffoonery, and it usually goes a little long. Today could go off the rails because we're going to be catching up since Wednesday. Yesterday notwithstanding, because it was such a whirlwind. We got on here and we yelled at each other about Lane Kiffin and Pete Golding for a few minutes and then got off. And so on our Monday segment, we will be catching up.
That's right. It's the Monday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show on Bluff City Media's YouTube page, on X page, even Rusty's Facebook page, because he's old. And
I'm just trying to get more views, brother.
So, if you're joining in, first off, thank you for being here. We've had a long weekend. We've got a lot of catching up to do, and we do that in a segment we call our Best and Beef segment of the week. It's the first segment of the first show that we do together every single week, and that's because we've been friends for over a decade. Maybe till eternity, maybe till a few minutes from now. And we just catch up. Been a long weekend. We consolidated down to 2 points. Our best of the week and our biggest beef of the weekend. And so I set them up. You knock them down, Rusty. Tell them about the sponsor of the segment and give me your best of the week.
Yeah, man. There's a lot to talk about there. But first, we got to talk about Donna's Italian Beef. 509 Constitution Drive in Iuka, Mississippi. Open Monday through Friday, 7 to 3, Saturday, 7 to 11. Your spot for the best sack breakfast, sack lunch. If you're in a hurry, and Memphians, I'm telling you, it's on your way to Pickwick. Hop off at Iuka. It's just off of 45 or 72. You can hop back on and then hit up towards J.P. Coleman, head up towards Pickwick, whatever you need to do. Tenderloin biscuit, fire, slug burgers. If you know, you know. It is the best spot for lunch on your way to Pickwick. So check out Jim and the gang. Tell them the Bucks sent you in. If you take a picture of our card on the bulletin board, which as of a couple weeks ago was the only card on there, we will cover your lunch. Somebody take us up on it. Take a picture of our card at Donna's Italian Beef, and we will cover your lunch at Donna's Italian Beef.
That's right. If you see that business card, take a picture of it and send it to Rusty, and he will take care of your lunch.
Listen, I started that. I'll own it. We're going to talk about it. I will cover your lunch. I mean,
got bills to pay. I got
it.
Mouths to feed. Ain't nothing in this world for free.
You show up, and it's a $1,200 bill. You're on your own. But, you know, $20 or so, I got you. But check them out. Donna's Italian Beef, 509 Constitution Drive. So, brother, it was such a good holiday weekend, man. Like, we had Wednesday night, we had buffet at the Jackson Country Club with Maggie's family, which was a ton of fun. We got to this first time we saw them. Yeah, exactly. Celebrated her birthday and Thanksgiving with them. Got to relive our trip, which was a ton of fun. Then Thursday, we went to Corinth. Buddy, my grandmother said, hey, Thursday's going to be the best day for you to come over. And I said, yes, ma'am, we'll be there. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So we showed up on Thursday. It was a great time, had great food. It was awesome. And then the rest of the weekend was super chill. We had a good college football show with Kenny on Friday. And Saturday, Sunday, we did as little as possible. We vegged. We watched Stranger Things, which, have you watched it yet? Have you watched any of it yet?
I'm 2.5 episodes in it.
Okay. All right, finish it because we need
mouth
to talk.
shut. Yeah. Then we'll talk.
Finish it. Do not, and I'm telling y'all now, do not watch the Daily Grind in the morning for Tubing Tuesdays if you haven't finished it, or at least the end. Watch the beginning, turn it off at Tubing Tuesdays. There will be spoilers. Heads up. But it was just a nice, quiet weekend. We were able to just kind of veg out, watch our shows. We watched Welcome to Dairy. Last night, a new episode came out. It's a banger. We're on a roll with our TV shows right now, which is fun.
Never heard of that.
Oh, but it's like the origin story for Stephen King's the clown.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm out.
That's why. And it's so scary. It's so well done. It's just, it's incredible. The actors are great. The storyline's great. 10 out of 10.
I don't do anything scarier than Stranger Things. So, yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's not enjoyable to me. Yeah. I don't like being scared.
Hey, Kurt, we got 4 more to go, buddy. Listen, we got 4 now. We got 3 coming on Christmas, 1 on New Year's, and Brian is a ball knower. Welcome to Dairy is a really good show. But so that's the best thing of my weekend. It was just kind of all one big good weekend. How about you, Drew?
Yeah. Again, the best of the weekend is pretty self-explanatory. When you've got a holiday, you take the holiday and it's just like, okay, I ended up taking like 4.5 day weekend. We got to see a lot of family. It wasn't too crazy busy even. You know, we went to my mom's on Tuesday night. We went to my grandma's on Wednesday night. And then we didn't do anything else until Saturday night. And so I got all of Thanksgiving and all of Black Friday just to hang out and hang out with the family. We didn't really leave the house. And then, you know, Ole Miss just beat the ever-living crap out of Mississippi State on Friday. That was fun. And the Lane Kiffin drama, honestly, this is sad to say, the Lane Kiffin drama being over is probably the peak of the weekend. Like, I was so fatigued and so tired of this. This is not a sports segment. If you want, cousin Kirk is, if you're in you are in the comments. If you haven't watched yesterday's episode, go back and watch it. If that's the reason, if you want my take on the Lane Kiffin drama, we're not going to get into it again today.
It was a good episode.
Nothing's changed. Listen, bragging a little bit, and honestly, we're getting the benefit of it being the hottest topic in sports and pop culture yesterday. Doing great views on YouTube. Go check it out. Give it a thumbs up on YouTube. It's a great episode. We're going to get around everything else today. But, yeah. That's my weekend. That's the best of lots of best this weekend.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm sitting here trying to, like come up with a beef. I really don't honestly, I don't have one. It was a really good weekend. I mean, other than the fact that Coleman Huxler is still employed on December the 1st, 2025, year of our Lord, by the Mississippi State University is wild to me. After finishing at 119th ranked defense, only going up to the 99th. It's just like, it's asinine. We'll get to more of that here at the end.
And maybe in 5 years, you'll be number one.
Yeah, we'll get to that here in the end. If Coleman Huxler is still coaching here in 5 years, then Jeff Levy has been done.
Lisbon, hold on, we got somebody in Lisbon.
Shout out! Is that South Mississippi? Lisbon?
I
believe that's overseas.
I believe that's.
Shout out to Southpaw, man. Let's go. Yeah, appreciate it.
What country is Lisbon in, Rusty? Before I get to my beef, or is Lisbon the country?
It's either Spain or France.
Here's my beef.
Portugal. I was so close. Portugal. I was in that neighborhood. Shout out to Southpaw while on vacation in Portugal, checking out the show. Man.
Mississippi Education.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, believe it or not, I was the 8th grade geography B champ at 5th grade geography B champ at Alcorn Central High School. Went on to the North Half State and got waxed. I'm talking about waxed, like Notre Dame Syracuse waxed, and I went back home to Corinth.
All right, my beef of the week is I had a Clark Griswold moment in 2 parts. First part was I was really excited about putting up Christmas lights on. I guess that was Friday. I got real hot and heavy. We got the Christmas lights out. Hadn't just had time to do it. I do enjoy decorating the exterior of our house. That was part 1. Was I was really excited. It ended, and part 2 of my Clark Griswold experience was, when he kicks the reindeer.
Yeah.
That's how it ended. I got so mad. We didn't put a single light up. Everything was busted. I had the kids, and this is my fault. I love involving my kids in this. I want to learn them. I want to learn them how to love Christmas decorations and do a good job. And I was like, all right, I'm on the ladder. You guys test the lights, plug them in, make sure they work, straighten them out, and feed them to me when I'm ready. They did all of that, but apparently in the process of unplugging the good lights and handing them to me, they crunched every single light with the bottom of their foot, and I strung all of those lights up and plugged them in, and none of them worked, and I raged. And so I guess I'm going to have to go buy some more Christmas lights.
That's amazing. I guess if there is a beat, kind of the same. Maggie had ordered these solar lights for her to wrap her front tree with, and they looked beautiful for the first few days, and then
solar lights to place under a tree.
Well, no, hang on. It's got an extension, and you can set the thing out to where
it
had a long cord.
It's a fatal flaw for
it. Had a long cord, and we had it a great view from the sun. It was getting all the sun it possibly needed. It's just they faded quickly, and so if you remember from a couple weeks ago when I talked about the Christmas lights in this very segment, I talked about how last year I had to go hunting all over God's creation to find the right extension cord to get them all to work. Well, because we replaced the lights on the tree with some actual hardwired ones, I was this close to having to do it again. And then we remembered that I finally ordered it off of Amazon. So I ordered the same extension cord I ordered last year because it has to have the 2 same size plugs. Can't have one bigger than the other anyway. Ordered off of Amazon to be here tomorrow. So we will be back in business at Maggie's house with Christmas lights.
Did you ever figure out what that plug was called on those Christmas lights? You know, the one's got the male and the female parts all into one?
Yeah, I don't know. We talked about it, but we couldn't quite figure it out.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, anyway. But that's our best in beef segment for the week. We always take a few minutes to catch up at the beginning of the show, so we appreciate y'all doing that and hanging with us as we caught up. But, Drew, it's time to do yet another Beale Street Heat Check and check in on our boys downtown Memphis.
That's right, Buckets. We have a Beale Street Heat Check, and you look to the left of your screen here. We do this in small, bite-sized 10-game portions. We split the season into eighths, roughly. And you see 4-6 and 4-6, and you won't think, oh, well, that's not very good. And, that's rough. I think the Grizzlies are right now 3 games under 500. Mm-hmm. And I would counter that with saying we started the second 10-game segment 0-4. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Or 0-5.
0-5.
So, yeah.
And so the fact that we bounced back to be 4-6, we're currently sitting at 9-12 after the Sacramento win last night, with a real chance to be above 500 within the next week or two, because we still have San Antonio, the Clippers, the Trailblazers, the Jazz, the Clippers again on the horizon, and those are all winnable games. There is a chance, Drew, that by the time Utah comes in on the 12th, we could be sitting at 12-12. Not saying that it's going to fully happen. We don't know. Ja Morant's getting his reevaluation, I believe, tomorrow. It was either today or tomorrow, but I believe for some reason it was the 2nd. He's going to get it reevaluated. And if that goes well, we could be back in business and having a whole different conversation than we have been in the first 2/10 of the season.
Yeah.
5th.
Counterpoint. The Grizzlies are 5-2 since Ja Morant got hurt.
I'm not going there. It's the system.
I'm just saying,
the system
we're still
highlights,
seeing a communist offense. So.
The system highlights role players, and I think this is as good of a time as any to ask you a question.
Sure.
Are you ready to admit you were wrong about Zach Edey?
I mean, listen, this is how I've said it before. I've always loved to be wrong. Mm-hmm. I hoped I was wrong. But even the most staunch appreciator of Zach Edey last year did not see 36 and 20. I mean,
I don't know, buddy,
you can't argue
there were
with
some
that.
of us that were talking about how dominant he was going to be.
Yeah.
I am going to take some time to roll some clips that we're going to talk about. Roll it.
Please do. Yeah. I've never been a fan of the long-term fit beside Ja Morant. I've never been a fan of how a 7'5" dude who doesn't run and has bad feet will ever run up and down the NBA court for as long as what we hope that Zach Edey will.
And then until Coach benched him, again, he was the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. A, B, this new system is fit for him. What he did in college with the pick and roll. We do know that. It's perfect. It's going to be if it's a true pick and roll system like what T.I. wants to run, and we'll talk about some of the coaches he's going to bring in here in a minute, how that'll help. It could be just exactly what we needed Zach Edey for and why we drafted him in the beginning.
You know what? If everything works out, then great. I will never be convinced that Zach Edey will just stay healthy and be able to run an NBA game.
Are you convinced that he can run in an NBA game? The stay healthy part, I'll give you. We still got time.
Okay. Can he run? It has been proven that he can pick up speed down the court.
It can also been proven that he can guard De'Aaron Fox 20 feet from the goal enough to where it can cause a turnover.
Listen, I have no problem saying that I was too far to the left on this. The context matters on this. Zach Edey was poorly used last year. That is true. Mm-hmm. That is absolutely true.
He also stayed very healthy in college. He got a bum run last year with his ankle.
I've never made this. You pulled out two brief clips from lots of arguments that we had last year.
Oh, buddy, I've got more. This is just the iceberg.
Is just the iceberg or the tip of the iceberg? Okay,
Listen,
if that's the whole iceberg, you have nothing left.
This is the tip, buddy. I've got more receipts, but listen, you've already had a rough weekend. I don't want to pile on.
I've had a great weekend. I've had a great weekend. No, I'll address it. Nobody is happier to be wrong than me if the 7-foot oaf that I hated for so long turns out to give me 36 and 25 a night. It's not over. You're going to see games in which he struggles. He is not actually Shaq Edey or Shaquille O'Neal.
Clip it again. You're gonna make me clip you again because yes, there's gonna be off nights.
He had a career night last night against
dominating.
He has been so good. Like so far and beyond what anybody has expected. So far and beyond what anybody has expected. But to me, the thing that has been the most important is that he brings a level of intensity. Like, it's not even anything else. And if you're being honest right now, the one thing I have repeated about Zach Edey, being a detractor about Zach Edey, more than anything else, any other clip that you've shown so far today, is that I'm scared he gets played off the court in a playoff 7-game scenario. That was my fear when we drafted him. That was my biggest fear now. You've got to be able to count on him.
But
he's proved me wrong. He's proved me wrong the whole time. Maybe he'll do it again, but we don't know.
Actively proving you wrong. Has been for 2 years. Actively still proving you wrong. And like, you've never seen something until you see it. And Zach Edey's skill set is one that's going to translate into something. Like, I'm not ready to throw out his entire fit on this team because I don't think he's going to fit in the playoffs until I see him in the actual playoffs. And
I've never said cut the guy.
You were writing his, like, I've got receipts. I got text messages. You were writing his obituary in our podcast. You keep spending
all your time doing that if you would like. But I could
a simple search, Zach Edey, and there it is.
I am fair and honest with my own opinion. I will not lie to you about a take because it ages poorly. I'm sitting here owning it right now.
And this is why we're doing this segment, because I knew Drew would be a good sport. We could talk about it because this is how he is and how our friendship goes.
I try to be fair and honest with myself. I'm not Lane Kiffin. I don't think I do no wrong. Okay, like I would love for Zach Edey to be the first player in NBA history at 7'4" or better to survive 7 games in a pick and roll washing machine. Like,
I mean,
Shaq struggled in a whole different age that you can't even. Okay,
so
Shaq didn't struggle.
At
Shaq
all.
also played in an era in the NBA in which 8 people on the court were in the paint, like inside the 3-point line.
The game is constantly changing, and like Zach Kleiman said last year, we're getting a guy that teams are going to have to game plan around, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that already. Yeah. Ivan Zubac, who killed us. Zubac killed us last year. Edey gave him work the other night. 19 rebounds on Zubac. Like, we got an opportunity coming out. We didn't get to see him against Jokic.
His name 3 different times, 3 different attempts.
Yeah. Well, Zubac, we didn't get to see him against Jokic, so we'll get to see that in a couple of weeks. But like, what we're seeing, yes, the conversation right now, and we're going to get to this here in a minute, is competition has been down. All these teams are below 500. But what he's doing is he is dominating the teams he is supposed to be. Dominating the centers he's supposed to dominate. Giving work to a guy, as Southpaw says here, is right, has always given us trouble.
Absolutely.
Edey is showing me what he's doing is sustainable.
He's been amazing. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Way leaps and bounds beyond what anybody thought. Even Zach Kleiman would not. If anybody in the NBA, one singular person, thought a 7'5" dude would get 36 and 20, he wouldn't have gotten to the second pick in the draft. You would have traded anything to get that guy. Like, it's just
maybe it's called being ahead of
total
the
unicorn
curve.
stuff. It's
And
total unicorn stuff, and I simply just stand by this. The one thing I've repeated over and over is you see guys that are that big, and Edey is athletic for his size. You see guys like that just get eaten alive in the pick and roll. Maybe Edey is the first one to ever do it. But last year you didn't see it until Taylor Jenkins got fired, and then we extrapolated that weird 9-game forward and assumed he would be great. And it turned out he's been great, but it was a sheer assumption at the time. And it's turned out to be great. I still wonder, in a heavy pick and roll game in a 7-game series, if he can hold up. And I think that's fair.
Once again, we have, like, Chris is exactly right. I want to talk about this. Like, the game is, like, with what OKC is doing and winning at a 20-1 clip right now.
And nobody's beating them. Yeah.
Living in the mid-range. Yeah. And I'm not saying that that's what we're going to come out and beat him because he has Zach Edey, but what I'm saying is the game is ever evolving. Last night against, again, a bad Sacramento team who happened to shoot worse than we did. We went 9 for 34 from 3 last night, and we won by 8. They didn't shoot a whole lot better. That also helps. But the fact that we're able to find success in the paint, we're able to get Zach Edey involved at a high level and not at the 3-point line like a previous coach had him playing. Like,
No, that
we're
was
actually
stupid.
using him with what he should be, like he was at Purdue. How many tapbacks did he have last night? How many tap outs did he have last night? Like, he could have, like, if
I've
he had
often
grabbed,
wondered, do you get
for
a
tap.
rebound for that? You should
don't
get a
think
hockey
so.
rebound. You
That-
know
it
how they
should
have a
be-
hockey assist?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you touch it, it should count because he had 17. But if they had counted every ball that he tapped out to a Grizzly player, he probably had 29 rebounds last night.
Oh yeah. He's just massive. Like, and that's the thing that made me so frustrated last year is because the big part of his game was missing. Like, you were 7'5" and you couldn't even catch and dunk a basketball.
And shout out Brian
improved.
here. The biggest thing that's improved is he high points the basketball and he keeps
Exactly
it there.
my point.
Last year, like you said, he would catch it and try and dribble in the paint and would get ripped by guys like De'Aaron Fox and Keegan Murray. This year, he's catching it 9 feet in the air and keeping it there until it goes in the basket. And if nothing else, like you said in that clip when I was chopping it up, he's coachable. And he's shown that. Like, he is coachable.
Oh, what? Did you clip that part out?
I did. Like, I was trying to find it. And at one point, he's like, he's coachable, but, and then you went off on an injury tangent.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Anyways, I would love to be wrong. And you know what else I would love to be wrong about is Jaren Jackson Jr. again.
Yeah.
Because we were and still are staunch supporters of Jaren Jackson Jr. being on the Memphis Grizzlies. Mm-hmm. But last night and since Jaws went down has been so revelatory. Mm-hmm. Like, the blinders came off, and I made a comment to you guys last night in which you misinterpreted. But it is just so apparent that whatever is in his mind is he cannot be the guy. Like, there's just something here, and he can almost be the guy. And that's when you get peak Jaren.
The last two games in the fourth quarter. The last two fourth quarters, he's played well.
If you pick an MVP of last night's game, it's Zach Edey. If you pick an MVP of the other games we win, it's Zach Edey or it's Cedric Coward or Jalen Wells had a big game. He can almost be your best player. But if he is your best player over the course of a game, you are losing.
So far this year, that's the case. Because last year and the years before, he could be the best player and you would still win. But this year, against the Clippers, he had 11 in the fourth quarter. Last night, I think he had like 8 in the fourth quarter.
When it mattered?
He is stepping up when it matters, but the whole body of work has been a struggle. No longer are we having, because last year and the years before, the recipe was Jaren would dominate for 3 quarters. He'd go into the fourth with 27 points.
Right.
And then Ja would score 19 to finish out the game. And it was just like, it was the Dwayne Wade to LeBron James, right? Like, Jaren would lob it up and Ja would finish the deal. This year, that's not been what it is. But what you're seeing is, like, you got to walk before you can run. And what I'm seeing, Jaren's been atrocious. But in the last week, as the game's going on, he's gotten more of a rhythm. He's gotten his game down better. And you know the other big difference in the last week in fourth quarters? The rotations have solved themselves a little bit, and we're not yanking him after 3 or 4 minutes. Last night, him and Edey played basically the final 8 minutes of the game, and it worked out really well. But we continue to run these hockey-style rotations, and Kenny talked about this in our group chat. Like, he's starting to see the vision, and I'm like, cool, and this is where I'm going to come back to the competition. Yeah. Like, yes, like, I see the vision, and it works against New Orleans, and it worked against the Clippers, and it worked against the Kings. I needed to work on the 2nd tomorrow night against the Spurs, on the 17th against the T-Wolves, and on the 22nd against the Thunder. Not saying we need to beat the Thunder for me to believe in the system, but we need to be competitive, and it need to make sense.
You need to get a win.
For me to see the vision of these hockey-style lineups. But Jaren is getting better as the game goes on because he's getting left in the game longer and able to find his rhythm as the game progresses.
Yeah, and I think it was your biggest beef, and even mine at times last year with Taylor Jenkins, and it's been our biggest beef with T.I. this time. It's like you're just kind of reading off of a script. You're following a rubric of when players are coming in and coming off, and there's been nights where Jalen Wells just can't make a shot. Last night it was Santi. In a game that the Grizzlies won by 8, he was a minus 20. Or something like that.
He had a Jaren Jackson Jr. stat line.
Just a garbage game. Yeah. And I don't have the minutes in front of me, but
right here.
How many minutes did he play last night?
22.
See, on those days, it's like maybe he should get 16 Not equal. And 22 is not a lot of minutes, but it is when
In this
Edey and
system, it
Jaren
is.
are playing 28.
It is in this
Yeah.
system. I want to real quick, and I was going to have you read these, but I picked on you enough. Zach Edey is the first player in NBA history to have 30 points, 32 points, 17 rebounds, and 5 blocks in less than 30 minutes. The last 3 players besides Zach Edey to have a similar stat line while shooting over 75% were Dwight Howard, Shaquille O'Neal, and Tim Duncan. So in 29 minutes, he had 32 points, 17 boards, and 5 blocks, one of which was of the half-court heave, where somebody said it earlier, he literally just stood with his hands up and blocked the half-court or three-quarter shot. But when he only had 29 minutes
Still
last
counts.
night, and Santi had 22, that's a problem when Santi that goes directly back to these hockey line changes, and we need to stop. You need to ride the hot hand sometimes. Jaren played 34, Jalen Wells played 30 because they both played better as the game went on.
Yeah.
But that was your top 2 minute getters. Then Sed and Edey at 22, Vince at 27, Santi at 22, and Cam Spencer at 21.
Listen, and maybe this is the cutting edge of the NBA, and we're the ones that is just on the front end of all teams going to this, and maybe that's the case. I don't tend to believe there's enough really good NBA players for every team to do this.
No.
You've got to have a special case, and Indiana last year had a special case where they were deep
Great example.
with a ton of players who are really good. And the Grizzlies have a lot of good NBA players. But when you go up against teams, I'm sorry, Cam Spencer's my favorite player on this team this year. It's just he's not going to work out well against teams like Oklahoma City with length and a lot of length and a lot of speed. It just isn't going to work out. And so in those instances, you've got to be able to say, hey, maybe Edey, maybe Jaren, maybe Ja one day, you're going to have to play 38 minutes tonight. And you don't want it to be the first time they've ever played 38 minutes.
Exactly. That bit us in the butt last year in the playoffs. We were trying to push these guys to play 37, 38 minutes, and the only one that rose to the occasion was Scottie Pippen Jr. And so,
and I will say, I banged on. I took a little shot at Ja Morant. Maybe just a slight. Maybe I was just hedging my praise of Edey a little bit with saying the Grizzlies are 5-2 without Ja. This has kind of been a turnaround if you want to be a Ja hater, in which I'm not. What I would like to say positively about Ja is, buddy, he's engaged.
Absolutely.
He is and there's a difference in being engaged on the sidelines and being engaged on the court if your role isn't changing on the court that you were unhappy with at one time. Maybe you've just bought in. Maybe the role changes. I don't know. Nobody knows until you see it. But I am encouraged by the amount of coaching and celebrating of teammates that you've seen on the bench from Ja Morant over this stretch run.
I'm going to give him a shout out. No free shout out here. Eric Tweets NBA at Eric Tweets NBA. He clips a lot of the Grizzlies clips, and he posted one last night at 8:11 p.m. of Rob Fisher giving his pregame analysis. But it wasn't about Fish. I love Fish. He's on our network. Great guy. Check out Night Court Podcasts. Great guy to hang out with, too. Love hanging out with him at the watch parties. But he called it #noticing. And if you look in the background behind Fish, you see Ja and Isolo dapping up, laughing, patting each other, and then it cuts to the two of them, and they're laughing, they're talking about the game. They're definitely more in lockstep. The same, we've gone from ask the coaching staff to us laughing and cutting up before the game. And then the best part about last night, like you said, Drew, there were several timeouts last night, particularly late in the fourth quarter, where Ja got up and met Jaren before he even got to the coaches and was talking to him, coaching him up. He was doing the same with Cam and with Jalen last night. Ja is engaged, and dare I say, we might be seeing Happy Ja again as he gets ready to make his comeback.
Well, I mean, I hope so. But this would make the third time I'm excited about Happy Ja coming into
Tell me about it.
into a stretch run.
Yeah.
And I hope the zeal for life is still there the first time Isolo wants to pull him out of the game at the 7-minute mark of the first quarter.
I'm ready for him to look at Isolo and just say no. Just
Well,
one
yeah.
time. No.
It's like this is what I've learned helps me with my toddler, with my 3-year-old, is I get down in her level, I put my hands on my knees, I squat, and I look her in the eyes, and I go, no.
And I want Ja one time when he's like on a heater, like on a night where he starts slow, whatever. But like, say Ja comes out 4 for 4, we're up by like 6. There's that 4-minute mark, and let's say it's Vince gets up. I want Ja to run down the court and say, "Sit your ass down," and keep playing because he's on a heater and staying. Like, to be the guy, like be that alpha dude. I want to see that, and I do want to give another quick shout out to another guy last night. He's put 2 good games in a row, and I want to see it continue. But our guy, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, has been struggling. And for the first time in right at a month, he has put together back-to-back double-figure nights. He had 13 last night, 4-6 from the field, 2 of 3 from the three-point line, only a -1 last night. And listen, we don't celebrate net negatives around here, but as bad as he's been playing, KCP is this 2 good games in a row for him.
When you win by 8, you can be a -1. A -1 is I don't even judge anybody that's within like a -5 to +5. You just played basketball and you didn't kill us, like, or win us a game either way. Like,
that's it.
Whatever.
Like, go out and be just be serviceable.
Yeah, he's been good. This is not an offense that is a plug and play situation. Anytime any rotation changes, you're coming in with 4 new dudes. Like, you've got to, everybody in every single role in this offense, if the role changes, it's going to take you a minute. It's too intellectual. It's too systematic. You know, like, it's not just like we're going to bring this guy in with the 4 guys. You're going to have to get in with these 3 guys, and this is your pod of 4.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Like, this is your line, and this is who you're playing with. Go figure it out, buddy. And but like, last thing about the game last night, because we got a ton of college football last thing about the game last night. Like, I really didn't love that we were in late, like into the 4th quarter before Edey and Jaren and Jalen came back with Cam, Conchar, Landale, Santi. And I forget who the other one.
That lineup was trash for
it's
sure.
It's like, buddy, what are we doing? This is a close game in the 40s, in the 4th quarter. Like, what are we doing? Get them off my court. But we'll get you ready for the Spurs game tomorrow. Drew, any final thoughts as we turn a page?
Last thing.
We're now 1-0 in our 3rd iteration of a 10-game Beale Street Heat Check.
Listen, I never shrug my shoulders at a winning streak. You can only play the schedule you can play. Vanderbilt's saying it right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Indiana, Ohio State, all these people that have played nobody all year. All they're saying is you only play the teams in which that are on your schedule. Yeah. And we've got a good stretch here, and we're taking advantage of it.
When you've played as bad as we have, you don't complain about wins. Mm-mm. Now let's string a few more together and beat a good team. But Drew, what a weekend in college football, man. Like, good games. We'll talk about the Egg Bowl. We'll talk about Vanderbilt making an entire football team quit. Like, and not because they had them, like, doing math problems, but because they were going belt to behind against the Tennessee Volunteers. And I've never seen a totality quit like that as they did in Neyland Stadium on Saturday night. We'll talk about all of that, all the coaching changes, and how Lane Kiffin might still get paid should Ole Miss advance in the playoffs. More to come after this commercial break.
In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day 1. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
Zach Edey, as you mentioned, how does the game look faster when you throw in a 7'4" giant? It doesn't make sense, like logistically. And also, it's insane how well he fits in this offense right now and how he's moving faster after the surgery. And it's because I really think he's more confident in trusting that ankle than he was last year.
You think so? Yeah, I mean, you got to remember that injury, the surgery didn't come because of an injury. It came because they were trying to stabilize from like future possible injuries, right? It's really just about gravity. When Zach Edey's in the game, there is so much gravity that's forced on him because, number one, he's a skilled offensive player. There's just so much attention that has to be placed on Zach Edey that it opens the floor up for everybody else.
Tune into the post-game bounce live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel immediately after every Memphis Grizzlies game for instant reactions and breakdowns. In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem.
Welcome back to the Monday edition of the Two Bucks Sports Show. We are the Two Bucks, and we spent the first 35 minutes of this show, 40 minutes of the show, talking about our best and beef of the week, recapping a long weekend and recapping a lot of Memphis Grizzlies games and resetting and starting our third iteration, our third 10-game stint of the Grizzlies season, in which they are now 1-0. Now we are getting to some college football, and I don't know about your time restrictions, Rusty, but good Lord, I don't know. You could have given us 4 hours. We couldn't touch everything in one episode of what happened in college football over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, coaching changes, upset wins, the wins that were supposed to happen. Like it was rivalry week, Black Sunday, all kind of rolled into one, and what a chaotic week. So let's get it out of the way. We'll talk about the Egg Bowl. Ole Miss dominated Mississippi State, doubled us up. We started off hot. Kamario Taylor got the start like I asked, and all he did was lead a 94-yard first drive. And
right out the gate.
Right out the gate after a muff kickoff just right down the field. And he looked good all in all. But like I led the show with, all the coaching changes that have happened, and I've yet to get the notification that Coleman Huxler has been fired as the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, is wild because we progressively got worse as the season went on. We're still running light boxes against teams that run the ball effectively. Our secondary was abhorrent outside of Kelly Jones, who will likely be a top 10 pick next year. But I will tip my hat to Ole Miss for being the better team. Kewan Lacey lived up to the hype. Like watching that dude, I've watched him kind of a little bit throughout the season, but seeing him actually in a game, that kid is incredible. And big props to you for the best season and first 11 win season in program history.
Yeah, it was a fun season. I wish we talked about it more down the stretch. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is the last time I'll get to talk about Lane Kiffin, the football coach, which I'll miss. The football coach, Lane Kiffin, was incredible. Absolutely. He is no doubt unanimously thought of as a top 3 coach in football. When it just comes to what happens in between those, in that 50-yard stretch of field, you're right there, 100 yards wide, 50 yards, whatever,
100 yards long, 50 yards wide. You'll
I
get
don't
there
even
in a
know why I
minute.
start some of these things. Like,
Hope you find yourself
you
along
know,
the way.
you knew what I was talking about, and I kept going with dimensions, like I'm building an arc or something.
Like you're an
but
engineer.
He was, yeah, fair. He was really good, and the game plan played out exactly how I thought it would, and because of how it played out in the previous 2 years, is he's not going to be gimmicky against Mississippi State. He looks across there and he says that's a team we should beat. I don't know that he went for it on fourth down at all, maybe. He kicked multiple field goals. He punted the ball a lot. And the second quarter was just a punt fest. And Mississippi State just kept punting it back to us. We just kept punting it back to them. And he just let Mississippi State break. And that's what happened. The third and fourth quarters got out of hand, ended up being 38-19. And the game was over, and we didn't even talk about it anymore because Lane Kiffin happened.
But again, congratulations, bitter rival, but congratulations on the best season. Nobody's going to talk about it, but 11 wins it's something to be proud of and hang your hat on.
Absolutely.
Especially given the distractions. Like, I don't want to keep rehashing them, but given how the season ended, like there was, like we've seen it before when distractions get the best of Lane Kiffin, what happens and the season falls
Absolutely.
apart. Kudos to the team for not letting those get to them.
It says so much about, and I think this is indicative as to one of the main reasons as to why Pete Golding was named the permanent head coach last night is because yesterday afternoon is because of what the coordinators did to keep that team sane and have them touch grass, keep reiterating what is reality to them right now, and it's that you've got a lot to play for.
Sure.
Because Mississippi State in Lane Kiffin's tenure had only beaten Ole Miss one time, and in that one time, it was that treacherous 22 season in which the whole season got tanked because of a Lane Kiffin coaching carousel drama. That did not happen this year, and reports coming out from players and from other assistant coaches, Pete Golding kind of led that charge as the veteran coordinator on that team. So it's an absolutely special season. It is not in the slightest bit dampened my anticipation for the playoffs because for the first time in the season, we are actually talking about playoffs. We're talking about players. We're talking about matchups. We're not talking about whether or not Lane Kiffin is going to leave or whether Lane Kiffin leaving is going to reflect in the polls. Like, it's over. We can look forward, and it's refreshing.
Exactly. And on FanDuel right now, Ole Miss, there has been tomfoolery in the past with the playoff committee. I'm looking at Florida State 2 years ago where they got left out because their quarterback got hurt. Right now, Ole Miss is still plus 3,500 to make the field of 12. I think that's a foregone conclusion. It better happen.
Minus 3,500.
Sorry.
To make the 12.
Plus 3,500 to not make it. I misspoke what I meant to say. Plus 3,500 to not make it. If you go to FanDuel, Ole Miss to make college football, you can't bet on yes. All you can bet on is no, and the odds are plus 3,500. Okay. So barring some backroom buffoonery, which I don't anticipate, Ole Miss will be in.
I don't either.
And they currently sit as a minus 140 to make the quarterfinals. So a lot of people think there's money coming in that think they will advance out of the first round, Drew. Whether you host or not, that's going to be the question. I don't think the committee will leave them out. I do see a world where they get punished and they no longer host, and Oregon gets that final hosting spot.
So you've got to be between the seeds of 5 and 8 to host. Ole Miss in the last CFP was dropped to 7. They were jumped by Oregon. That still hosts. Although I want to get to 5 or 6 because then you're getting the G5 or the ACC champ. What benefited Ole Miss this week, aside from the Lane Kiffin thing being done, instituting a permanent coach and keeping the offensive staff, is Texas A&M lost. Texas A&M losing. They have the same amount of wins and losses as Ole Miss does. They are not going to the SEC championship game, and I think that there are metrics that the committee has shown that they care about that look better in Ole Miss's favor than in Texas A&M's favor. I think that Texas A&M beat Notre Dame. That is something that is their crown jewel. I think Ole Miss has got a better resume than Texas A&M does. Texas
And
A&M
loss
didn't
is
play
better.
anybody in the top half of the SEC standings except for Texas, and they lost at
And
on the road.
better. Your losses to number 4 Georgia, not a top 15 Texas team.
Right.
The one thing that does hurt them, though, is in spite of that, A&M strength of schedule is still slightly higher than Ole Miss's.
Yeah.
And so the committee weighs heavily on strength of schedule. What also hurts is you've got Texas Tech playing this weekend. You've got BYU playing this weekend. Oregon's not going to play, but they've already jumped you. There's a world where some crazy things could happen, and the SEC runner-up, Alabama or Georgia, gets a hosting spot. Oregon gets a hoster spot. Maybe BYU or Tech, depending on how the outcome of that, gets a hosting spot, and Ole Miss is number 9, the first team looking in, out of just pure buffoonery. And I'm saying that as an individual who hates that university and hopes that they get the worst possible seed. But it would be malpractice to keep them from hosting by punishing them for no Lane Kiffin, as it is a reward system and not a
projection.
Reward system, not a projection.
Yeah. And I think the projection is out of the way now. You know now. And I think it's a good thing that Ole Miss is not playing in Atlanta, because worst case scenario is Lane Kiffin's it was the key, and he may very well have been. Like I said, top 3 coach in football. Okay.
Yeah.
Very well could be that this team takes a step back without Lane Kiffin, and you don't want to show that in Atlanta. You want to preserve your spots you've got. Ole Miss needs everybody to go chalk. You know, the only way that Ole Miss falls out of a host is if, say, Alabama beats Georgia. Alabama will jump Ole Miss. Will they jump high enough? If BYU beats Texas Tech, that means Texas Tech now has 2 losses. They should drop below Ole Miss if they want to punish a conference champion runner-up. BYU probably jumps Ole Miss as a 1-loss champion, avenging their 1 loss, which was to Texas Tech. So it's really weird. Ole Miss fan, you just want it to go chalk. I don't really see a scenario in which you fall all the way to 10, though.
Yeah. I think at lowest you fall to 9.
Right. 9. Right. 9.
You should stay 7 or 8. There is chaos out there where this thing becomes squirrely and you're number 9, but I don't see it any lower than that.
Yeah.
We will talk more about the
I don't see
championship
us getting to 9, but like I said, you're right. Crazy things happen.
Yeah, and listen, there's a world where the ACC champ doesn't even make the field of 12 if Duke upsets Virginia this weekend. Like,
no, that's my fear. As somebody who wants the 6th, what I want is Virginia to win. Yeah. Because if Duke wins, Miami probably gets in. And I think Miami is the actual superior team.
Agreed.
Worse losses.
Yes.
Probably better team.
Playing better football right now. Yeah. For sure. But we'll talk about championship weekend. There's going to be some killer games. We got a number 1 versus number 2, a 4 versus 10. That Virginia team is a fun watch. Like Tech at BYU is going to be a massive game.
Yeah, that'll be must watch.
This Saturday is going to be an incredible championship Saturday, and we'll get you ready as the week goes on. We'll learn more tomorrow night. We'll break down the college football playoff poll on Wednesday's show. But we did have some other coaches moving around, Drew. So I want to ask, who is I'll go first because I've got a pretty strong feeling about who I think is my favorite hire, and then we'll talk about who you think is going to struggle the most. My favorite hire, and especially if he can convince DJ Durkin to stay, I kind of like Alex Golish to Auburn. You go watch those 2021 Tennessee highlights, that offense was humming. You see what Florida State or South Florida has done the last 3 years. They've been a top 20 offense as South Florida. He has done amazing work. Dude knows ball, knows offense. A quote came out over the weekend where he said, I don't play golf. I don't like to fish. I don't have hobbies. I just coach ball. And that's a guy that I can get behind. And if he can convince DJ Durkin, and there's no official word yet, but I've got some inside information that it's trending that way, but we'll see kind of what happens with
Is your inside information from Zach Callahan?
Who is boots on the ground in Auburn and well-connected at Auburn.
Okay.
But it's trending that direction. And if you can convince DJ Durkin, and that's the one thing that's been overshadowed with the whole Hugh Freeze saga and how bad that offense has been, is Auburn's defense has been really good under DJ Durkin.
Of course. Yeah.
And if you can keep Durkin and add Alex Golish's offense, you get a top 20 offense and a top 20 defense. That's a recipe for a good Auburn football team that's going to be tough to beat. And so for a fit off the top, I like Alex Golesh a lot to Auburn.
Yeah, I do too. Listen, there were two guys I wanted if Ole Miss were to conduct a search in a normal year in which you weren't hijacked by Lane till the last minute.
Yeah.
There were two guys that I wanted, so I'll just take the other one then. I think Alex Golesh is great. I think he's great. And I'll take John
Summerall. Machine
Summerall.
that is Auburn behind him now too, which is from an NIL
All right,
standpoint,
first off,
big.
let's stop that. If Auburn is a machine, it is broke down on the side of the road. Gone are the days where Auburn is a powerhouse. No, I'm sorry. They had John Summerall, and they snuck in language behind the scenes because they've got too many cooks in the kitchen, which is typically the case when you have poor-run organizations, and they screwed themselves out of their number one option.
Their number one
was John Summerall.
But I'm talking about from a money standpoint. That's purely all I'm talking about. Being able to generate NIL revenue and NIL money for players. Auburn has few peers, buddy.
I think that Golesh is a great hire. I loved Golesh at Ole Miss. The only one I liked more was John Summerall, and I've been on the John.
But to back up, because we're not going to just skirt away from that. You want to take a guess where Auburn finished this past year in NIL funding for their roster? Now, Hugh Freeze, it was a terrible coaching job. But take a guess where they finished.
I have no idea.
Number 9. They were the ninth best, $580 million, right behind Oklahoma and LSU, within $30 million of LSU. So the money is there. That's all I'm saying.
Go up the list. I'm curious.
So LSU is 7, Oklahoma State 6. Wow. Georgia 5th, Florida 4th, Texas 3rd, A&M 2, Oregon number 1.
Okay, I rest my case. It's not the most important thing about a job.
But in this day and age in college football, y'all gonna learn at Ole Miss how important it is. I
have no fears about money being an issue at Ole Miss. You're talking about well-run machines. That's a well-run machine, and you had a great coach at the head of it. But the money is not raised and funneled by the coach. That's where I think the problem is. LSU's going to have that problem. Lane's going to have to fix it. My big win, I've talked about for years how I've coveted John Summerall. I think he's great. You look at what Ole Miss is, and you look at what Florida is, and you look at what Auburn is right now. And I believe all three of them got guys that can win the press conference that's about the right things. You had guys in there that were prissy, and prissy is probably the wrong word, but prima donnas, a distraction, not about the right stuff. They all three got guys that I feel like are about the right stuff. You had the Golesh quote. That fits right in line with what John Summerall is and what I believe the public opinion of Pete Golding is they're just ball coaches, man. Like I don't play golf. My favorite clip that's been going around about Pete Golding is he's got a hog leg in his jaw, a snuff, coaching football, and he's talking about taking the defensive coordinator position at Alabama, and he walks in and Miss Terry asks him for a beer, and he's like, absolutely. So I'm drinking Miller Lite, and I didn't even realize Coach Saban don't drink, but I'm just in the living room drinking Miller Lite, and he offered me the defensive coordinator position. Like, just simple people who love football. It's crazy that's what we're craving now. But all three programs just got football guys.
Which is going to lead right into my least favorite hire. We talked about this on the show yesterday. It's nothing against the man. It's nothing against Pete Golding. He might go on and be awesome. There is track records of it happening, just like there's track records of it's not. I just feel like it was a bit knee-jerky to give him the keys to a school long term. So minus Pete Golding at Ole Miss, he's the absolute right hire heading in the playoffs. But you're hedging playoff success for future success. Cool. If he goes and wins a playoff game and it goes well, that's great. That's awesome. Well done, Pete. But then if you are 5-7, 6-6, 6-6, 5-7 for the next 4 or 5 years, was it worth this knee-jerk emotional hire? Let me finish, and I'll let you rebuttal.
I will.
Again, ball knower, great defensive coordinator. He can coach his tail off. Ole Miss's defense were getting great. We're getting better and better each year he was there. but I don't know if that's going to translate to a head coach. We'll see. I'll eat crow, save this clip for future use. I'll eat crow, but I just don't believe it was the right long-term hire when you could have slapped an interim tag on him. I understand the timing of the season, but there are few coaches that would not have listened to a phone call from Keith Carter about a plug-and-play playoff team heading into next year.
I'm going to just pretend like you're not a Mississippi State fan and say, like, that's a totally valid concern. Like, I've never said that this – I was planning on coming on the show and stumping for Jeff Brom because I think he's the best football coach that can potentially be got. You know, there's a lot of football coaches out there that can't be got. I think Jeff Brom's an incredible football coach. But there are a lot of instances in which long-time coordinators get their first head coaching job at big programs and have a lot of success. And industry-wide, he's highly respected, and it just happens to serve both causes probably pretty well. And
we'll see.
If it doesn't work out, the only thing I'd push back on is in no scenario does any team in the SEC anymore go 4, 5, or 6 years of mediocrity. You're just going to cut bait quicker than that. And so I'm totally on board. I'm totally fine with it. I get the logic. Would it have been my first call? No, but my first calls I just talked about. You didn't have that option because you were held hostage for too long. Yeah. So I'm good with it. My least favorite is kind of a cop-out. The first job, big boy job, to become available in the college football season was after week 4, I believe, when Penn State fired James Franklin, an incredible football coach. If Ole Miss's knee-jerk reaction by hiring Pete Golding, what was Penn State's reaction after week 4 firing James Franklin? Because their lack of a head coach is damning.
It's like, wild. They still don't have one.
It is. I mean, right down the coast there, Bob Chesney at James Madison is going to go cross-country to UCLA. He's a really good football coach.
Really good football coach.
And you couldn't get him up to State College, Pennsylvania. He prefers UCLA.
Buddy.
This is what happens when you get too emotional. You projected yesterday about Ole Miss making an emotional decision, and I said it was a calculated risk. You had to pick somebody, keep the team together. That was emotion. That was emotion, is what Penn State did to James Franklin, and they're left with the rubble of coaches. I don't know. They're going to probably go and try to sell Brent Key to their fan base. And
Will
Brent
Stein
Key's
is
fine,
another name.
But who?
Will Stein, the OC at Oregon, is another name that keeps kind of popping up.
That's the only thing that makes sense for them waiting this long is that they've got a coordinator like Brian Hartline at Ohio State, and they've just got a quiet yes. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. But the fact that they were the first ones to join the club and they're the last ones still in the club is a pretty bad look.
It is. It makes it look like they tainted their own job with how emotional they were with firing James. Because like a coach is going to look at that and go, buddy, he won 9 games. He was a game away. He was a Jeremiah Love, like incredible touchdown run from a college football national championship game last year, and y'all canned him. I ain't going there. That's what it looks like. Now, Penn State could, after the playoffs, they're all said and done, have some home run massive, like, oh my God, I didn't think of him higher. And that may happen because they
didn't realize he was available. Yeah.
Right. Didn't know that he would say yes. But the reality is they're probably going to be picking what's left over unless they can convince Brent Key, unless they can convince a Will Stein, a Brian Hartline, like you said. Otherwise, there's a lot of egg on their face, especially if James Franklin lands on his feet and Virginia Tech's pretty good next year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any – there is no – you're talking about a track record. James Franklin has no track record of failure.
None. He won at Vandy.
He may not have delivered you a national championship yet, but he has no track record of failure.
I would put him on the short list of coaches that could win one. Simply, yes, he has a terrible record against top 10 and top 25, but all it takes is one roster, one quarterback, one good year, and you can do it. Like, I would put him on the short list of coaches I think that could win a national championship, and Penn State sent him packing.
It's one of those things. Is like sometimes it takes multiple swings of the hammer to get through the glass ceiling. And Michigan lost 8 consecutive times to Ohio State, then beat them, won a national championship, and then beat them 4 consecutive times. Like sometimes it just you have to just keep swinging that hammer, and that's in this immediate nature that we have in college football that we're going to have to combat. That they fell victim.
Yep. And so the only college jobs, there's still a few, but the main ones obviously are Penn State. Memphis is another one, which might open up a job in Las Vegas if Dan Mullen is the guy coming in from Las Vegas to interview for Memphis. They've also got a couple former assistants and former coaches that their also names keep coming up from Memphis. It's going to be an interesting one to watch because Memphis has kind of hit on their last 3 or 4 coaches, right? Like you had Fuente, then you had Norvell, then Silverfield. They've all kind of hit and done well there. So I'm curious to see who their next hire is going to be. And if he can continue that, I got to hope y'all get the Dan Mullen experience. I would love nothing more than the Dan Mullen experience here in my town here in Memphis to watch that closely.
You'd get rusty in Memphis gear.
I might. Listen, I look back fondly on Dan Mullen, not to the point of some of my constituents and co-conspirators in Mississippi State in the fans that won him back. I appreciate what he did, but keep him far away from my head coaching job.
Yeah. Kentucky opened up officially today, which was a little shocking. Stoops got fired. He is owed $27 million in the next 60 days. He gets, I think, what was the number? 75% of his buyout within 60 days. A $36 million buyout.
I read somewhere where they're in negotiations to extend it, but if I'm Stoops, I wouldn't do that. I would just say, cool,
it depends on if there's an offset or not. If there's not an offset, I want it up front. Or if there is an offset, I want it up front.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like Kentucky has their eye on somebody because I don't know that you wait this late and not have a plan. That's
the crazy thing for me. Not that John Sumrall would have ever chosen any of Auburn, Ole Miss, or Florida over Kentucky, but that is his alum. He is an alumni of there. He left Ole Miss as a position coach to go to be a position coach at Florida. He chose a worse job and a lateral move position, like title-wise, to go to Kentucky back in the day. And so maybe it could have been, but it's not now. So I don't really know what they've got up their sleeve. It's just kind of stale. They should build a statue of Mark Stoops there. He brought competitive to that program for a decade. He should be looked back on very kindly to what he did at Kentucky.
100%. That needs to be like he won consistently at a place where people haven't done it very often, and so I think he'll do well.
This one's kind of surprised me a little bit that we haven't heard anything.
Well, I saw where they said that he was going to get another year. I thought.
Okay. Well, that's very well true. They very well could be the case. I've talked about this, and it's kind of the reason why I was surprised that Stoops got fired. If South Carolina were to open up, it would be the 7th job in the SEC that is filling a coach, and you would get the last one. Last year, there were no coaches. So maybe you run it back. Lenore Sellers is back, right?
Back. He's got one more year.
If
Dylan Stewart has one more year.
He's back. If Stewart doesn't transfer, he's back. Maybe you run it back, and if it crashes and burns, maybe you get the best coach to come to the SEC in next year's class.
They're kind of following the Florida State blueprint. Like, we want him gone, but it's expensive. All the good coaches have been spoken for. Let's hang on a year, and maybe a Will Stein or a Brian Hartline or a Matt Patricia at Ohio State. Maybe one of those guys is interested in a head coaching job next year. Maybe you call one of them at South Carolina or Florida State. But I would be surprised, barring like an 8 or 9 win season like he had a couple of years ago. It just feels like Shane Beamer has lost that team down the stretch pretty handily.
Yeah,
and so those will be the two that probably come open first next year.
He doesn't strike me as the guy that I want in my foxhole when things are bad. Maybe when they're good, but not when they're bad. Right. South Carolina could go for, if we're playing the game that Penn State's probably waiting on Hartline or Stein, the hot shot coordinators. Maybe South Carolina could make a play for the other one. Mm-hmm. Kentucky's now in the mix now too, though, and they've got a head start. Yeah. So I don't really know, but that's the only way I could see South Carolina opening up. I would probably punt. However, it's really hard for a fan base to punt given the amount of money you see thrown around and
It's-
restarts that all these schools are forcing, and all
Going
it
well.
costing them is some rich person's money.
And it's Kurt Signetti's fault because it's going so well in Indiana so quickly that's the blueprint now.
Yeah.
And the patience and the years of, coach is going to get 5 years to really get it figured out that's kind of gone. But King Meeks is right. I do agree. Memphis is obviously the best non-power 5 open right now. It's going to be
South
tough.
Florida's open.
And Tulane.
Tulane's open.
I still think Memphis is. Memphis has been more consistent. Like South Florida was good under Golish. They weren't great before that for a long time.
Consistent.
Tulane has been.
They've not made a conference championship game since Silverfield took over. Silverfield was in his
Sure.
6th year. It's the same year as Lane, right? That he went the same year as Lane. So in its 6 years, he's not made a conference championship. USF and Tulane have done that. Tulane's done it multiple times.
So hang on.
I don't know about USF.
8-4 this year. 8-4 last year. 8-4 in 2023. Like it's
Again,
very consistent. 9-3, 10-3.
But
in 2023.
locally,
like it's consistent.
it is consistently underachieved.
Agreed.
Maybe that's Silverfield, but if you're just looking at an outsider's perspective, better job, maybe in New Orleans or maybe in
I don't
where
know.
is South Florida? Is it in Miami?
No, it's in Tampa.
Tampa? Okay. But I'm more or less just playing devil's advocate here, and it's just totally lining it up based on
St. Pete. It is. It's in Tampa.
It's in
Tampa, St. Pete.
So,
yeah.
I'm genuinely just looking at conference championships appearances, and South Florida's done it with 2 coaches now.
And I think what you that's a very fair point, man, absolutely from a program. But I think knowing that you got FedEx and AutoZone right here in your back pocket with built-in revenue and NIL money, and Memphis has, like Tulane and other coaches have said, like Memphis spends money on rosters.
Yeah,
I think that's
absolutely
very attractive for Memphis.
Absolutely, and Memphis doesn't have a really hard time keeping players either, which is something to be said in a big pro for Memphis.
Exactly. Man, what a show. We told you I was going to be jam-packed. A lot of good stuff today. Drew, man, that was a lot of fun. I appreciate you today. Appreciate the comments. They were popping off. Everybody contributing in the comments. Thanks for hanging with us at the hour and 13-minute mark. We're just getting warmed up. This is the first show of the week. We got FOMO to do throughout the rest of the week. So y'all come hang with us as we work through this crazy week heading up to conference championships and the Memphis Grizzlies playing basketball. We'll get you ready for that tomorrow night. Y'all go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And Drew, tell them why there are no refunds.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Everybody go hang out and watch a movie with your wife tonight. Let her choose it because we've got a night off. Just give it up for tonight.
Exactly. We'll see y'all tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Thank you for listening to the 2 Buck Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.